Welcome back to Neo Marketing Podcast. On today's episode, we're going to talk about rumors.
Welcome to the Golden Group Neo Marketing Podcast, a bi-weekly discussion of modern business communication.
Welcome back. I'm Pritch Pritchard. I'm here with my partner and our Chief Creative Officer, Kyle Golding.
It's true.
It's true.
I'm the creative type.
He's a creative guy. Way creative. Yeah. So recently, one of the nice things about being an academe is that sometimes you get to stand in the stacks in the library and find cool stuff. It's like a treasure hunt. So several years ago, I found a book by two Harvard psychologists in 1946.
Going way back.
Guys' names were Allport and Postman, and they did a theory of rumor.
Okay.
And it was kind of one of those seminal aha moments, light bulb kind of things. And the other nice thing about being an academe is you get to see a lot of research across your desk. Students are doing projects. You get to go to conferences. And some of the most recent things I've been seeing have been research about social media rumors.
Right.
Yep. So I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about that because I think it integrates very, very well. I've been looking at this in terms of developing a model for the demand for information and what that looks like. But certainly today's environment includes social media, which can really blow stuff way out of proportion.
Absolutely.
In a huge hurry. Right? Fast. And if you look at most of the crises involving social media, there's some kind of a rumor there, or there's a conspiracy theory, or there's, but
something presented as fact that is not factual.
That is not factual at all. So how do you defeat that? And I know, people are making big bucks in seminars telling you how to do all this stuff, but
that's not what we do here. We give you the straight info for free.
Give it to you for free. Exactly. 40 plus years of experience and yours. Between us, we've got what?
We're close
we're old.
Yeah, we're 60 plus, easy.
We got a lot of years, so want to pass that along to you. So not to undercut these other folks, but it is our business.
So how do we challenge rumor via social media, 24-hour news channels, the speed of the internet, etc.?
Exactly. Thank you for the segue. I appreciate that.
I can't wait to hear.
I'm going way back to the beginning, to the Allport and Postman book, 1946. These guys were prescient. Way ahead of their time.
Well, if what they said in 1946 is still valuable in 2019,
absolutely,
it's got to be good.
Absolutely, and they quantified it. They quantified their findings into an algebraic equation, which anybody who knows me, I do math. I am numerate, but I don't really dabble in that. I was helping my granddaughter with her ACT study and the algebra, and so anyway.
Oh, I love math and I love data. This ought to be good.
Yeah. So their formula is that the strength of the rumor is directly proportional to the amount of ambiguity, and interest in the topic.
Yeah,
and
the more salacious, the better, right?
Absolutely, because it's algebraic, you can
you can chart it.
If you look at it, you can chart it, right? Where I went with that was, if I can reduce the ambiguity, in other words, if I can get good information out there in a hurry, specific information, and reduce the ambiguity, then that strength of that rumor goes down because it's an algebraic equation.
Yes.
On the other hand, if I can reduce the interest that somebody has in the topic, then again, it goes down. The strength of that rumor goes down.
And I think in both cases, what you're talking about is best practices, whether it's 1946 or 2019, the best practices of providing good, viable, valuable, true information, number one, and then number two, the balance of how much credit you give something that's a rumor or isn't valid versus pushing back or providing your version of the story, your version of what's really happening.
Well, the other piece of that is that in their laboratory experiments to test this concept, they found that trying to refute the rumor was, one, virtually impossible.
Sure.
Right? Once people had it in their head. But then, two, not terribly helpful. Even if you were able to, you're not going to be able to move people off of that.
Right.
But when you break it down into level of ambiguity, i.e. lack of information, specific, authentic, trustworthy, credible information, then and you look at the amount of interest, and you can gauge that. I mean, how much traction is that social media post getting?
Yeah, they're a great metric for that.
Absolutely.
And tools to
do that.
Not only measure them real time.
Yep, absolutely. So, we lately, scholars and practitioners have been talking a lot about how social media amplifies the rumor and makes it even harder to do crisis comm. We're going back to the basics.
Yeah.
Get the information out there. Make sure it's credible. Make sure it's timely, because time is of the essence. Absolutely. And so focusing on that ambiguity side will help, if not defeat, lessen considerably the level of rumor.
Certainly.
There's always going to be some. There are still people who think that the Navy shot down TWA Flight 800 back in the 70s, right?
Well, there's still people who think that our first president, George Washington, had wooden teeth.
Right.
That's been shown to not really be accurate either, right? There are a lot of things we all think we know that aren't really true.
That aren't really true. Second gunman on the grassy knoll in the JFK assassination, right?
Or the fake moon landing, right? The moon landing never happened.
It happened in Hollywood, exactly.
Yeah, there's conspiracy theory for everything.
Oh, you betcha. And that's a whole different podcast discussion.
Sure.
But for today, I think it's just really important that practitioners remember speed is of the essence, but you got to make sure your information's solid, it's trustworthy, it's credible, and while you're reducing the ambiguity in that situation, which reduces the strength of the rumor, you're also really kind of modulating the interest and lessening the interest to a certain extent.
But you also have to realize, as a professional, that you're not going to mitigate 100% of it. And that shouldn't be your goal.
No.
It should be to mitigate as much as possible, to try to push back as much as possible by providing that accurate information. But you can't have the goal of, you're going to stomp this out completely. This doesn't happen anymore.
Doesn't happen anymore.
You have to accept some level of that.
Right.
Also, because there are also plenty of people who may be talking about the rumor who will never affect your business or whatever entity it is you're trying to protect. So it doesn't matter anyways.
To some extent, that's exactly right. And as we've said before, and maybe this is a subject for another podcast as well, but haters always come out first.
Yeah, right.
So they're going to glom on to any little chink in the armor and rumor and conspiracy theories. And so you're right. Unless those folks are going to have a dramatic impact on your business, and if you let them go, they will.
Yes.
Over time.
But there's a balance there too, right? You can't address every single tweet that says something negative or less than what you would like about your business, or less than accurate. But you also can't let trends in that information.
Exactly.
That's when you have to push back quickly and vigorously.
Well, you're responsible for the trend, because if you haven't done your job at the time, then it continues.
There you go.
And so, that's on you, really.
Remember, not making a decision is making
a decision. Exactly. And by the way, in today's day and age, stuff doesn't just go away.
Never.
You can't. And
the
a deep defensive crouch is not a good strategy especially when you've got haters and you've got the rumor.
And you've got competition, obviously.
And you've got competition.
I'll take that one step further, though, Pritch. That if you have been open and honest and transparent and been communicating as people would hope and expect the whole time as a business or other organization, then when rumor comes up that you try to provide the accurate information as the pushback, you have a lot more validity than if you have been secretive, non-transparent, or have been combative in the past about small little things or even things that you should own up to and refuse to do.
Exactly.
So if you operate correctly, you're transparent, you're communicating great ways in a relationship with your audience.
Yes.
Not a one-way conversation, not yelling at them, staying on the street corner yelling at them, my feelings on that.
Right.
But in a two-way conversation relationship with the people you could potentially do business with, when a rumor, when something negative comes back and you get a chance to address it, the likelihood people listen to you goes way up.
Right. It's that work, that preparation ahead of time. Some people call it the halo effect. Some people, just you're banking goodwill that you can then tap into later on. Yeah, and we all know what karma is, right? It's a PG show, folks.
Good and bad.
Yeah, that's a nice save because it is a PG show. But yes, that to the extent that you've built that authenticity, that trustworthiness, that credibility, you're going to get a little bit of slack.
Right.
But again, the information, reducing that ambiguity as early as possible, as quickly as possible, and as completely as possible is what's really going to help you when rumor hits your business on social media.
That makes a lot of sense. It also makes sense it worked in 1946 and it would work in 2019, 2026, 2046.
Some old things are still worthwhile.
There you go.
Looking at me. Anyway, well, we hope that's helpful. Hit that subscribe button, folks. We and let us know. Give us some feedback. We're on a number of different social media platforms, as one would expect from us. So subscribe and let us hear from you. We would love to have your comments, and more importantly, we'd love to have you on the show so that we can have a good in-depth conversation about your concerns. Until next time, ciao.
Good luck.